Good morning. Welcome to Viewpoint, the program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. And we certainly have a perspective and a great personality with us this morning. Doctor, we always try to start Viewpoint. And by the way, I must add, you're getting shorted this morning. The real strength of Viewpoint is in Arkansas. And, well, she's off. It was either that or go to the Betty Ford Clinic. And it was cheaper to send her to Arkansas. So, anyway, Judy is sorry, and she asked me to extend her regards to you, sir. We always try to start Viewpoint with a kudo, or maybe kudos, something that's happened in the neighborhood or in the city, and something that's hopefully relevant. And so we're going to start right now, since you are a part of the neighborhood, and you deserve a part of the kudos. If you'll recall, Mr. Ash, Peoria Street Patriots challenged Lincoln Avenue denizens to see who could fly more flags. Well, the Lincoln Avenue folks just jumped up real big, and I think they maybe Ace Hardware Store depleted the flags, and those that couldn't get them there ran out to Walmart. But anyway, Lincoln Avenue did a great job of displaying a lot of flags. In terms of households, the Patriots swept Lincoln Avenue, 20 houses to 13 houses.
Very disappointed.
Well, we've got Veterans Day coming up. So, anyway, seriously, not only on those two streets, but a lot of folks around the city had those little sidewalk flags flying, and that's pretty neat. So, just as kind of a tickler for Veterans Day coming up, maybe everybody ought to go out and try and get a cache of flags ready for that day. So, that's a kudo for there. Secondly, I had commented to Alderman Todd Morning about that sick sign that was for the city of Lincoln as you come in from old 66 on the north side. There was a sign about Lincoln, and it was pretty sick. And I commented, better no sign at all than that sick thing. Well, by golly, they replaced it. So kudos to Todd and the city for that. And let me see here. I had one more if I could just reach over there. Oh! Right here in our own neighborhood, Doctor. There's a lady down in the corner from you, kind of, as we used to say, catty corner. And she rents that home. She and her sister. That home gets more loving a care. She is always out there sweeping, picking up the curb. I thought I was in Germany when I first saw her. She's out there. She's just dedicated to keeping that corner looking great. So I think she ought to have a little kudos. All right. Let's get down to serious business. Our guest this morning is Dr. David Gerlach, new man on the block insofar as his position is concerned, certainly not new to his profession. Doctor, let's just kick it off this morning. Doctor is president of Lincoln College, and you came from Upper New Hampshire, and that's going to be a culture shock along about August when we get real humidity. Tell us what you were doing up there and before you came to Lincoln, Doctor.
Well, New Hampshire versus New York. I came from New York, and so we got out of northern New York just before the escaped prisoners got very far, and so Canton was about 23 miles from the Canadian border, and we packed up and made sure there were none of those two escaped prisoners in the back of our SUV. The dog made sure everything was good to go. So 30 years of higher ed experience, doctorate from Syracuse University, similar colors than one of the local small colleges that are here, unmentioned college. And so, but we're very excited to be here in Lincoln and very thrilled to be the 22nd president of Lincoln College.
Well, we're off to a great start. You had two predecessors in particular, which stemmed the flow of blood when we needed to have a new president. We had John Astroff step in, who was former president of Heartland Community College. Did a great job for us. And then we passed the mantle to John Blackburn, your immediate predecessor. And he did a wonderful job because of his business background and his acumen in knowing how to handle people and so forth. So while not an educator by profession, he did a wonderful job for us. And as a matter of fact, he had been an educator and a coach before he went into the insurance business. So, David Gerlach is on campus now. You've had a time, not a lot, to look around, and I know personally that you've been hard at it, digging into facts and figures and visiting with a lot of people. Take a daily routine now. And when you first hit the road running, you had a lot of information to find out.
Well, I first will say I've had the pleasure of meeting John Blackburn. He participated in the search process, and very, very gracious man, and incredibly impressed with his legacy of his time, both as a trustee and as president. And so I would give some kudos to John and his great service to the college. So I hit the ground running even before I started. I came for our commencement exercises. I met with Governor Ronner at the President's house. I had about a 15-minute discussion with my wife, Lisa, with the governor, and prior to my arrival, had conference calls with the executive cabinet, the vice presidents, and we are focused on a few short-term and some very exciting long-term goals. So in the short term, my goals have been to meet as many people possible related to the college, understand its history from where we came from, where we're headed, get a handle on our fall enrollment, and just a little plug, point out that we still are enrolling students for the fall, and we have some space and some scholarship money left over at this point. And so if you're interested, please reach out to our admissions staff. My experiences in the past have been focused on enrollment, on fundraising, on student life, over my 30-year experiences in higher ed. And so we're focused on a lot of those initiatives right now. And so in the long term, some very exciting news. As you know, Bill, our college was founded as Lincoln University 150 years ago, and I am excited to announce that we are going back to our roots as Lincoln University from Lincoln College. So in the last number of years, we've been focused primarily on 2-year associate degrees, but we will be expanding our baccalaureate offerings, our bachelor degree offerings. We'll be bringing 3 of them down from our normal campus to the Lincoln campus, announcing now, but starting next year in 2016, we'll add sports management, business administration, and criminal justice to jazz studies and theater, giving us 5 bachelor degrees. And in the next 5 to 7 years, you'll see a total of 12 bachelor degrees on our Lincoln campus. You'll see additional offerings at the master's level, and maybe even a PhD down the road. And so we're very excited about where we're headed.
That is a far-reaching program. Will have a great impact on tons of students. You mentioned fundraising, Doctor. That is not the least of a college president's responsibilities. We're swimming upstream against a very tough current, private college as we are. We've got community colleges, circled by community colleges. It's financing and fundraising is obviously vital importance. Without them, we have no other responsibilities. So a word or two about that, and in these difficult times, that just doesn't happen. People just don't say, well, I think I'll think about Lincoln College and sit down and write them a $50,000 check. That doesn't. You have to do a lot of networking. You have to do a lot of investigating. You have to do a lot of friendship making.
Well, I would just say that I am so impressed with what I found as we arrived to the campus. Amazing facilities. My office, Bill, is in the original building, University Hall, 150-year-old building. It's a jewel in my mind of Logan County. Certainly, if you haven't been back to the Lincoln College campus in a while, it is just amazing. And I would just give strong kudos to our buildings and grounds and facilities people, the residence halls, the classroom facilities, the athletic facilities are, in my view, par none. My campus that I came from had been a baccalaureate granting college, 100-year plus college, and our facilities are certainly, if not a measure better, equal in many respects. And so the campus has this image, in my view, from talking to so many people in the local community, it's a hidden jewel. And I think giving Lincoln College that second view is something that I'm hoping the community does. So to fundraising, why should people give to a 150-year-old college? Certainly, this college has been a mainstay in the community for so many years, and so many individuals have donated land, have donated scholarship funds to support students. My dissertation was on 2-year versus hybrid colleges that offer 2-year or 4-year degrees, and baccalaureate attainment. And so students who begin at a college that offers both a 2-year and a 4-year have between 2 and 5 times more likelihood of obtaining that baccalaureate degree than students who just begin at a 2-year college. So why should somebody consider giving a gift to Lincoln College? Because we are doing wonderful things for student access and student success, and a long history of meeting the needs of students in Logan County and beyond in central Illinois.
You know, in the beginning, for a long time, our mission, so to speak, was preparing students who might not be ready for Northwestern or the University of Illinois or the larger schools. Smaller setting, more one-on-one instruction and so forth, and preparing those youngsters who, for one reason or another, shouldn't be in a bigger school. They had to get their feet wet, so to speak. And we have done a magnificent job of that down through the years. As a matter of fact, at one point in time, we had a lot of folks go there and get their 2 years, and then they go up here, what we call normal in those days. That's, of course, Illinois State University, and to get their teaching degrees. And we have a lot of ladies in particular, and some of the young men in those times got their start in teaching by going to Lincoln College, and it was a great experience.
Well, certainly, Bill, that continues today. Our learning assistance, our tutoring, our student support services, certainly what I've heard are bar none in helping that student who I would say was like me. I started at a 2-year college, and I was a BNC student in high school, and my 2-year experience helped transform my love of learning. And from my associate degree, transferring to a baccalaureate granting college, to a master's degree, and completing my PhD, I lean back to the days of my beginning at a very small campus, an environment where the faculty-student ratios are small, and where you can get that extra help. Of the 5 top professors I had in my past, 3 of them were at that 2-year college.
All right.
And what I've heard about Lincoln College, because I've only been here 3.5 weeks, and so what I know is what I'm told, that we do a wonderful job at that type of transformational learning.
Well, I recall very vividly. By the way, somebody might have a question to Dr. David Gerlach, new president of Lincoln College, 648-5510. He will be glad to entertain any questions and or comments. Be nice, folks. He's new kid on the block. I can tell you that my father knew very well that I was not prepared to go to University of Illinois or even Illinois State University. He knew that I was still pretty wet and still pretty green. And so I started at Lincoln College.
And you have a long legacy of Lincoln College connections. Am I allowed to ask you questions, Bill?
Yeah, sure, you're entitled to. Oh, that works both ways.
So give us that history of your deep connection with Lincoln College.
Well, we have 6 in my family, 4 in my immediate family, my father and myself and a son, Greg, and a grandson, Jerry, the most recent one. And then he, from Lincoln College, he went over to Western, and he got his degree, and he has a good job now, and he's in a family. Too fast for me, but anyway.
Should I ask on the air if he's donating back to Lincoln College yet?
He will. I guarantee he will. Right now, with 3 kids, 2.5 kids, 2 and about 8/9, I guess. I think his nose is to the economic grindstone right now.
What we may have to do is set up a 5-generation scholarship for maybe one of his
there we go.
One of his children to come.
Then I had 2 in my family. Matter of fact, I'm not so certain. I don't know about my uncle. I never thought about that. But his wife was one of the early graduates of Lincoln University, and their daughter Gail was also graduated from. So we have 6 of us in our family that are excited. And I'd just like to comment a minute about our college family. As you know, Doctor, I've been associated with it for a little while now, and I've watched our instructors, and I visit with students as I'm on the campus, which I am a lot. We have an unusual array of instructors who are intensely interested in their students. And I think that's one of the gems, one of the real secrets to the reason we're doing well and our kids do well when they get here.
I think so, yeah. I would say for any of our callers, I wonder if there's somebody out there who has more connections than what you offered. You have 4 generations, and some aunts and uncles. I wonder if there's a caller who would call in with somebody a deeper level of connection.
As old as this community is, as old as this school is, we surely would have somebody that might beat that. Certainly there's somebody out there that has more than, or at least 4 or more generations that are immediately connected.
Well, if we get that call in, I'll buy a coffee by the bean.
All right, fair enough.
For whoever calls in with those connections.
And then I'll take from there over to Old Joe's. We'll finish the day out. The science programs that we enjoy. We have Dr. Campbell with his unique approach to teaching. We have Creekside. I'm excited about that, Dave. I think that it's just starting to grow, and I wonder what it'll be in the next 5-7 years.
I was supposed to today finally get my very up close and personal tour of Creekside, but because of the weather, I have pretty tall muck boots that we could have gone. But the one difference I have found is this rain. I'm hoping your listeners aren't blaming me for bringing the rain, but this amount of wetness, I've heard of humidity, but this liquid humidity, I'm not sure I really like.
Well, it sure, I know, it took us off the golf course again. So the normal campus has been an important adjunct to us. That'll inevitably, there will have to be some changes made. You have to take a good hard look at what works best, and down the road, as we make changes on our campus, there'll be changes on the normal campus.
Well, certainly right now, one of the things that I'm most excited about is our accelerated bridge to education.
Oh, that's a gem.
And you know, students today are looking for the ability to move through programs of study in a quick but efficient manner. And for adults, we have 5-week classes, and traditional age students, we have 8-week classes in the baccalaureate, and we're very excited. And that ABE program is being offered in many different locations, and certainly something very exciting. One thing I would point out, Bill, is you will see locally some additional marketing, and so I believe today or tomorrow, the kiosk on Keokuk, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
As a rookie, I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can.
That'll work fine.
You'll see a billboard at our kiosk. You'll see a billboard on Woodlawn marketing our programs of study. Up in Bloomington Normal, you'll see electronic billboards right now marketing the college. You will see a 40-foot banner on the Midwest College of Cosmetology on the side of the building. Mm-hmm. That'll go up, I believe, today or tomorrow.
If it quits raining.
And well, that's true. I hope they work in the rain. Anyway, the marketing we're doing to help expose the fact that the many gems that we have to offer. Cosmetology up at the Normal campus, the accelerated program up at the Normal campus, the baccalaureates both at the Normal and the Lincoln campus. Very excited about what we're offering, and change is inevitable for certain, and I think as a nimble college we are well suited to meet the needs of our students.
You know, we talked about rain a while ago, that rainmakers and advertising. We have to create a little rain from fellows who know our commercials, and we have sponsors. Go right ahead, Mr. Ash. Good morning again, and welcome back to Viewpoint. This morning we have a personality and perspectives. Even though we had an election, I think they call it an election. What a ridiculous thing. 10 to 12% turnout. I'm voting for a representative to the Congress of the United States of America. People, you deserve what you get. That's just incredible. Serious note, Doctor, many of thousands of us who stood at Punch Bowl and out at Arlington and in various military cemeteries around the world, and you stand there and you reflect on what happened and why it happened, and we get 10 to 12% of people who will turn out and vote to keep the system that we have. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we're promoting Lincoln College today. By the way, I'd just like to make a comment, if I may, and since Judy's not here, I may. It's a private school, per se. And by the way, that word say is, as I saw once, somebody wrote it down, S-A-Y, and I thought, well, stupid is as stupid does. As Judy's daughter says, you can't fix stupid. But anyway, we are a private college, but we're not private in this community. Lincoln College has been an integral and a vital part of the Logan County community, and a lot of people have enjoyed a lot of what Logan County what Lincoln College does for Logan County. So when they have public functions and so forth, don't hesitate. That's your school, even though it's a private school. It's a community school. For instance, go right ahead.
I would just jump in and say I read a economic impact study from 2006, might have been 2008, and it showed that Lincoln College supported our local community with 16 or 18 million dollars in revenue through its students, through its employees, and its impact. And so I would say, even though that study is somewhat old, it's probably increased in the amount of impact that we have had. I would say it's important from both the human side, but also the economic side. We're an employer in the county. We have a large number of dedicated employees who I've met a lot of them, and they care deeply about the students, but they're also investing and spending money in the city of Lincoln and the surrounding areas. And so as a resource, certainly the college is doing its part. And I've challenged my staff in many ways. One of them is talking about the future, and I want to see our students and our faculty staff engaged in the economic development of the city. I mentioned to the mayor and the city administrator that I could see us in a year hosting a fair or something that is beneficial to the community, a community-wide. I know we used to host the rail splitters. Yeah. I heard a story over at the Big R over the weekend of why that ended, and I won't mention anything about tractors and soccer fields or anything like that, but that was the rumor that I heard. And so, but I want our students to be volunteering. We'll have service organizations established. I think it's important. You go back to your point as we came off the break. I think it's important that we engage students at every level of involvement, because I think things like being politically connected starts while they're at college. Service organizations, Habitat for Humanity, volunteering, the SPCA, taking trips. I know that was a part of our history in the past. They would take students to St. Louis and to Chicago and try to expose local students to broader areas. And I think it's very important that we do that. We infuse that level of service across our curriculum and our offerings to students. You know, I think the literature shows that when students are academically engaged, but also socially engaged, they are to be much more likely for success while at college. And our plans are included in both of those avenues, to be able to grow the academic engagement and grow the social engagement.
Well, you know, you mentioned the students doing things in the community. In the fall of the year, we've had many times students go around, and for older people, they came to my house one time. I kind of objected to that. But
I wouldn't have called you older.
Well, seriously though, they would go to older people who find it difficult to do yard work, and these kids rake leaves and do things for people. It's a great, much appreciated, good little thing, but yet it's a big thing to the person that got the favor.
Well, certainly my experience on college campuses, students do student things. You know, those can be both good and not so good. And oftentimes the student struggles learning, the tomfoolery, the things that they get involved in, that catches the biggest headlines.
Always.
But when their great service, their involvement, their academic growth and strength, and the things that they're presenting on oftentimes goes unnoticed. And so I plan on doing our part in making sure that the community knows of the good. We know students will act up. We will address those issues, those concerns in very learning manners that are firm, but we want to also also promote the good that the students are doing.
Yeah, we had a few rough bumps from time to time, and in a college campus in a small town, small community, those are more noticeable. Probably no different than University of Illinois as far as numbers are concerned. But
look, I was reading the history book, and I read, and I want to say it was in the 20s maybe, that there was a cow that somehow mysteriously ended up on the second or third floor of University Hall.
Of your building.
Of my building, and I didn't see any remains today. However, students are students, and whether that is in 1867 or in today, they do silly things, and that's how you learn. And
well, you and your staff have some people who are pretty experienced in handling youngsters like that.
Yep.
Bridget comes to mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Bridget Thomas does a great job, very quietly. Well, that's the thing. I just almost interrupted myself there because I talked about our staff, and there are a lot of Bridget Thomases on your staff, and we have. I've always, and Jean too.
Yep.
Jean has so much respect for the instructors and the people in the physical plant services and in the food services.
Well, I have had the pleasure of meeting a number of our athletic coaches, and I know that they care incredibly deeply about the students. We have 18 athletic teams right now that are competing at the junior college level. I see down the road us moving into four-year athletics in maybe 5 or 10 years, having the NAIA or the NCAA level of competition. But right now, the coaches do a phenomenal job in caring for their students and making sure that they're in academically engaged, but also in continuing on with their athletic prowess. And
but you mentioned something important there, and that is not just their athletic ability, but our coaches who are also recruiters, because they have to bring their students in their particular sport aboard. They're interested in these kids making it academically.
Their responsibilities include advisement, and so they are working with their students through their struggles and through their successes, and doing all that they can to help their own students succeed. And so, again, I would only go back to as I interviewed for the presidency and only was in 3 of the buildings, I was a little nervous what I might find at this 150-year-old college. Were they only showing me the good things? And as I toured the campus with my wife and Rhonda, I'm going to get your name wrong, Payette.
You're right on target.
She is amazing in leading our facilities and grounds. But as she toured the campus, the residence halls were fantastic. All of the buildings I saw were just wonderful. And Rhonda, I'll just say, I know you were holding the tour of the old gymnasium for me for another day. I may have snuck in there with my master key and got a view of that. Fantastic building. And so we have a beautiful brand new building in the Lincoln Center, but our old gymnasium is just a wonderful venue. And so all of the campus personnel have gone to such great lengths, and again, I can only say, so impressed with the facilities of the campus.
You mentioned Link's Lair is what we call the old gym.
I did. I wondered where that was.
Link's Lair, right? Okay. And that was an integral part of the first on-campus housing. And I've told this story in here before, so I apologize for it. But very quickly, we had 2 youngsters from Petersburg, Illinois, who somehow got a very, very, very modest trailer. And they pulled it alongside that building. Coach Bailoff, who was major domo there.
What year was this?
Well, this would be 1941.
Wow.
And they pulled this trailer alongside and plugged it in to the utilities, did their ablutions in the gym, and they cooked and studied in that little trailer. So I often say, and I think rightfully so, it was the first on-campus housing.
That's great. All connected to the Lynx Lair.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
And in those days, of course, we didn't have that foyer out front. It was just opened up and out into the shale driveway.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, and the coach would open up the gym on Sunday afternoons for us to play. And that's, that was he was an integral part. He and Mrs. Bailoff, they are part of the history of it.
And I've read about them in the history book. We have a little bit of time left. I'm wondering if I'm gonna owe anybody a cup of coffee.
648-5510 if you want a cup of coffee, buy the bean. That's a win-win for sure by any stretch of the imagination. I'd like to talk about our fine arts program. The one point in time, we had a great one going, and then those folks moved on to some other school, and we kind of plunged a little bit, and now, on the ascent for what we offer to the community in our Fine Arts program. We have a great musical program, and our theater program, and that is you have a bachelor's degree in theater, fine arts,
in jazz studies and theater, and I've met both of those instructors. One I spoke to, one via email, and certainly am thrilled about having those programs grow. The facilities are wonderful, and I just think that the future looks tremendously bright. And I would only say, Bill, you got to be careful asking me too technical questions. It's only been three and a half weeks, and so I'm still getting my feet wet.
Yeah, getting your ears dry.
Getting my ears dry from New York.
The assimilation into a community and a person in your position can be an interesting thing. You're going to hear in many, maybe perhaps most instances, what people want you to hear.
That's right.
And your responsibility is to filter all that out and try to get to the bottom line on whatever matter that you have an interest in.
I was advised by my mentor, president, who I believe will come to the inauguration that we're going to have in November 8th, Sunday. I want to be able to tie in the past history to the future of where we're headed. Mm-hmm. But he told me that most of the time, presidents either get their arm twisted or their ear twisted in trying to move things in a certain direction, and that's okay. I love to hear the history. I love to hear the backstory of why we ended up where we are. I certainly am a student of history and have already read half of the 100-year history book, and looking forward to meeting past presidents and past administrators. And so I believe that that's important, to know where we came from, to be able to make sure we're holding on to the center posts of what is important to the college as we move forward. So certainly being connected in the community, I've met people at the Big R who have told me stories. I've met people at Kroger, at the Blue Dog. I'm hearing all the time of the great impact Lincoln College has had on this community, and keep those stories coming.
But you said three important words there, Doctor, and those words were as we move forward. History is wonderful.
That's right.
And, and I wish I'd have been a better student of history when I was in school, because as you get older you really enjoy history because you are history.
That's right.
So, but those three words are important as we move forward, and that's going to be the thrust of your administration, planning ahead and looking ahead and seeing what will work best for Lincoln College, and if it works best for Lincoln College, it'll work best for the community.
Yeah, we hit the ground running, and we are moving very quickly to help transform this jewel into to a college where all of our local folks are proud of what we're doing and are sending generations upon generations of students to Lincoln College.
We mentioned one of the fundraisers, and then we have a golf tournament coming up here. Been going on, golly, I've forgotten how many years now. July 31st is the golfing if it doesn't rain.
It will not rain on that day, I've been told.
All right, you've covered that. But that's a fun a fundraiser, scholarship fundraiser. That's just, and I think that's important to note, scholarship fundraiser. That money goes for that purpose alone. It's been a lot of fun down through the years. We've done very well, and so we're all looking at those of us who enjoy that. And I think probably Jeff Nelson might tell us differently, but I think the foursomes are all filled out.
I'm not sure if they are or not, but certainly would encourage sponsors to consider getting on board, because the money does go to support students in being able to pay for college. And you know, you said earlier, as Lincoln College, a private college, I want to make sure the listeners know private doesn't necessarily mean expensive, and our price with our discount and our scholarship offerings very, very competitive to any college offering. And so, but scholarship support and sponsorship of the golf tournament, donations and involvement in supporting young people is very important to the future of our country.
Doctor, it never hurts to ask. All you can do is get refused.
That's right.
There are a lot of folks who, unfortunately, don't have extended families, or perhaps, unfortunately, no families at all. And some of those folks are in nice financial position as they move to the greater beyond. And it would behoove us to remind them to have a talk with their advisors and their attorneys or their accountants, and whoever they may be, and think about Logan County and Lincoln College in particular as a means of moving on and making a meaningful contribution to education.
I would only say, I know we're running short on time, but I would only say that anytime I meet with individuals, I always am excited about the possibility of just what you said. In one of those visits in my past, I asked a gentleman if he thought of leaving a legacy gift to my former college, and he said, "Yes, Dave. Well, I'm going to give $2 million." And I paused and said, "Well, I guess I'm going to owe you another breakfast." And so, so I'm always looking to give that additional breakfast to somebody. And so, if they're interested in assisting the college, give me a call, and we'll sit down for either that free cup of coffee or that breakfast.
Our guest this morning is Dr. David Gerlach, our newly arrived, not installed yet, not officially installed, our newly arrived president of Lincoln College. Dave, we appreciate your taking your time. I know firsthand that you have a very, very busy schedule. From here, you're going to rush up to the normal campus. So you've kind of deviated the course this morning to come over and visit with us. We appreciate that. We always try to close Viewpoint with a quote or two that's hopefully appropriate to what the subject matter is. And you remember Mr. Franklin, of course. His name's on somewhat of a currency somewhere. Mr. Ben Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest.
That's
Thank
great.
you, David Gerlach.
Thank you.